Alright, well. Kids need to read books. Sound's gone for me. Be right back. Alright, hold on one second. Let me just kick everybody off the internet and let's see what we can do. 1 second. Alright, everybody's shutting down the internet right now. We'll see what happens, guys. I tried to open the door and the dog had his toenails under the door. Got pinched. Got pinched by the door. I think it's hilarious. He was trying to check in and see what we were doing in here. Yeah, shut down the internet. So it's going to take a moment here for the homeschool internet to slow down and shut down, but eventually it'll be taken care of, and we'll see how it goes. So how are you guys doing? How's your day? Eventually we'll get this internet problem fixed, and then we'll move forward. But for now, let's just chat our way around Bitcoin and see what happens, yeah? Hopefully it speeds up. If not, we'll just listen to me chat away in the lag, I guess. Alright, so overall, looking at the chart here, let's go to a weekly. So everybody, I feel, is very, very bullish, right? Like, and they have reason to be. But I also think, right, our overall gain that we've seen has been absolutely amazing from down here. Already up over 200%, right? No one can complain about those gains. I think that some of the things that people need to start looking at is the ascent that Bitcoin is making. Number one, the angle that it's making as it's coming up isn't the most impulsive thing, right? When we look back in chart data, a lot of places, an impulse gives you that displacement. It gives you this big push without a lot of overlap as it's going up. When we look at this price action, you know, we only get that here, and then we come back and take it all. Only get it there, take it all, right? So let's say, best case scenario, if I saw the same scenario on an hourly, let's use my magnet so I can get as close as possible, and this was an hourly chart, and I saw price action struggling like this around a 786, I definitely wouldn't be, it wouldn't be the time that I started to feel bullish, right? At this point, I should have already been in the trade for a while, considering what I'm going to do, considering my exits, getting set up, de-risking, whether that be taking that position size down smaller, taking some profits if I'm in spot, moving up stop losses, whatever it takes to de-risk. I get nervous when we come to these 786 fibs. Anything that comes into this 786 to 888 zone and rejects off of it typically will be a C leg or a Y leg down, meaning we could have possibly had an A here, a B leg here, and we'll make a C leg down later in the future. All of these things are things that are far in the future and nothing that we can really know right now. But what we can focus on is the way that this price action is building, yeah? So let's slide this fib over to the side so we can just keep it in mind. This is going to be just our macro retrace resistance fibs, placed from a high to a low to measure the resistances of this trend as price action started moving upward, yeah? So let's go ahead and place a fib extension here from the low. These are my favorite tools. I don't use any paid indicators. I don't use anything that's going to help guide me or tell me what to do outside of the fibs and honestly the subjective matter that I add to it being Elliott wave, right? Because it's super discretionary. How I count something compared to how you count something could be completely different. That could be because of your past history in trading. That could be any number of things, right? The psychology that you've built in your road of trading leads you towards calling something an ABC versus a 1, 2, 3, right? So it's pretty cool. So anyways, when we add that to it, one of the things you see here is a lot of people online telling you this is wave 1, this is wave 2, and now this is your wave 3, right? So anytime you're hearing all these things, I think the best thing you could do is lean back on yourself and try to find some objective things that keep you solid on this road of learning how to invest or learning how to manage your own cryptocurrencies, right? So we place a trend base from the low to this high to the low of what people are calling a wave 2, right? So if this is a wave 2, right? Meaning, let's go ahead and label it. Let's say this was 1. Excuse me, mouse clicker. 2. This was 3, 4, 5. And then you had a flat correction of sorts here. People are going to argue it a million different ways. I've seen people put A here. I've seen people put W here, X there, Y there. Let's not get too caught up in it. I think at this point, does it really matter? And from here, it comes up again, right? So we can kind of start to see what's going on, right? So when a 5-wave move occurs, or we think we had one, and we have a correction, this is the connector. This was our first leg, a connector, and our second leg. When this second leg came up, it hit a 1-to-1 extension, meaning, let's get our fancy dancy line here, meaning this portion of the move, let's just place a red line, is an exact 1-to-1 so far, this portion of the move, right? So that isn't typical of an impulse, right? That's typical of a correction. That's typical of an ABC correction. It's typical of WXYs. These are the things that we have to be aware of, right? Seeing moves that come to a corrective pocket 1 through 1.382, right? This is 80% of the time the move will stop here if it's corrective. 20% of the time it might come up and hit a 1.618 before it comes down. But do you see how you have to say but, maybe this, maybe that? I think the best thing we can do is try to stack the probabilities to try to figure out what we think could occur, right? That's everybody's guessing. If anyone tells you they know for sure, they're telling you that because they want your viewership. They don't truly care about what happens to your investment or your goals in investing, right? I think the biggest thing we can do is be self-educated and on a motivated road of learning. So these fibs are your free tool. They give you the ability to come and stay real honest with yourself, right? They're going to give you mathematical objectives. So anyhow, typically if this was a wave 2, when we talk in wave 2s, we typically see them retrace much deeper than what we saw here. And maybe we can claim, oh, it's because Bitcoin was just so bullish. Great. That's a subjective thought, right? That's not an objective thought. So let's put this as a wave 4 retrace. Bitcoin held here at the 0.236. Let's delete this one so we can see a little clearer. A 0.236 of a 3-wave move that reset the RSI deeply here with hidden bull divergence, right? You can see that. Here's your point of contact, right? We're measuring an uptrend. In an uptrend, you're measuring hidden bull divergence on the lows. You can see here how the RSI pushed down lower than it did here. That's hidden bull divergence, okay? That was one of our big signs of, hey guys, key in, something could be coming, right? The RSI is resetting, it's giving itself some fuel, we might see some launching, right? But it pulling short at a 236 is very odd, especially on a weekly, daily, these larger time frames. Seeing a wave 2 do that is odd. Seeing a wave B do that, or some sort of corrective thing that went sideways and long over time, much more like it, right? Let's say this is an A, this was the B, and this is the C, right? I would say probability wise, that's max what we should be thinking, right? We should 80% of the time statistics show us in data and back testing, it should stop in this zone, right? So if that's true, the upside's limited for Bitcoin, but if Bitcoin dominance remains the way that it should, you could see altcoins do things, but try not to lean too hard into the coulds and the maybes and this and this and this. Really size up those things and ask yourself, have you gotten paid? Did you make good gains? And weigh that out for yourself, right? No one can really tell you what to do but you. And if you have the tickling feelings in your tummy, those tickling feelings are the psychology of trading. Don't try to get away from your emotions. Try to embrace them and use them to your advantage. So anyhow, let's go back. So let's say this was the first 5, a flat correction, and we think we're seeing some 1s and 2s down here, yeah? So let's go over to a different chart where we have that labeled up pretty well. All right, guys. The other thing, while we're here, let's go through this. The other thing that we have to consider is impulses typically leave channels, right? Most of this move can be channeled when we place that channel from a low to the high, and we contain the move. The move that comes after it still respected the channel, and the midline's super good. Let's delete this off so we can see what we're doing for just a second. And let's go in here to our count. Alright, so after we saw that flat correction where we thought maybe it's a wave 2, maybe it's a B, regardless of what it was, as soon as we started moving again, sorry, it's funny, my mouth gets all nervous when I talk to you guys and starts fumbling my words. We have a series of possible 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2 here, right? For the most part, I would say in succession, they're like a little nesting doll. One's not bigger than the other, but we could check that really quick while we're here using our trend-based fib extension from a low of the first one to the high of the first one. Let's get it as good as we can to the low of the second, or the first 2, sorry. And we note that it doesn't come up and hit a 1-to-1, so it's actually smaller. So this is good, right? We're getting exactly what we like to see in a possible nesting scenario, where each gain of each one wave is possibly smaller than the one before it, and takes less time. That's what we really like to see as these things go, okay? As this 1, 2, 1, 2 progressed, we can see here we finally start getting into our 3 4s, 3 4s. At that point, the pink count was done, okay? That was the wave 3 of the teal count of the wave 3. Whenever you're counting Elliott wave, the very first thing you should do, guys, is go find this most impulsive, most displacement, the biggest push, that move. That's where we really want to start counting, is it an impulse? We really want to make it validate itself to us. If it's truly a 1 through 5, it will get that displacement there. The wave 3 should be the easiest portion for you to count, right? Anyhow, this is our most bullish way that this could be going. And that's with us still ending this golden macro 5 count here. So if we use a fib and we pull it from a 0 point to the possible 3 of that golden count to the possible low of the 4, it gives us a wave 5 target to the 0.618. The other thing I typically like to do is I turn on the 0.382 here, and it gives me another point of possible resistance and a possible place that it could stop early. You can see we kind of hiccup there for a second, but that also was in line with a fib on our more zoomed out picture, our 786 fib, in that common area that we talked about, right? So having this 618 and the 888 so nicely in conjunction here, you can see the yellow dotted line with the green solid line, getting that confluence of a Fibonacci trend extension with a fib retrace is absolutely amazing. And it is a strong resistance point that I'll be looking at, 58, 522, 57. I highly urge you to see these as zones and not so much as a price, right? Like, don't sit and tell yourself, well, the dude on YouTube said it goes to 58,522 for sure, so I'm going to wait till it gets there. Maybe that would be a poor choice, right? It might turn on you. So generally speaking, these are my views on Bitcoin, is that I think, and I'm going to use that word a lot, right? Is that I think this, I think that. I still think it's an ABC, right? And when I zoom out here, how I strongly want to label it is just being patient for me, right? Like I don't own any Bitcoin, so I don't care what happens. Let's turn off this magnet. So I'm unbiased, right? And I truly am sharing my opinion just as an opinion, right? Like it's not anything to take to the bank. It's not what has to happen. It's not what's gonna happen. It's just an opinion. So, but me, with the probabilities after seeing this as a shallow correction and looking around the charts and really struggling to find any wave twos that look like this or any starts of a bull run that look like this. I know there's people pulling fractals from crazy places. That's amazing that you can stretch something out and make it look like something else. I think you're great. But math is math, and my math leads me to this. So this is my opinion on Bitcoin, is that in the end, all of this will end up just being a B-leg retrace before another leg down. And that brings us to a point on the local price action. Let me go check the chat to see if there's anything, and then we'll dive into local price action here and what my thoughts are. So first, let's go see if there's anything you guys have. All right, check it out. My kids need to go outside. Yeah, too bad, man. We got this like crazy winters here. It just rains and rains and rains. It's absolutely unenjoyable sometimes. So that's why I'm on here today. I was supposed to be outside planting some onions and garlic, and I decided let's just stay out of the rain for a little bit. My husband bought me my favorite chips and said, "This is for the woman I love." That's all I needed for me. Genuine and thoughtful. To remember someone's favorite bag of chips takes a lot. That means you actually care. That's nice. Way to go, husband. Yeah, let's go. Let's finish the happy. I see you want to check out Atlas and Miria. Let's go really quick through just this really local price action on Bitcoin for maybe 5 minutes. And then let's jump over and talk about Atlas and then Miria. Thank you for putting those in there. Also, thanks for sharing that story, RS. It's good to hear people are out there being kind to each other in this world still. All right. So you'll learn in time that I'm not scared of using this button. So I delete everything often. I think it gives us an opportunity to learn. So let's go to an 8-hour chart. And let's talk about what the possible scenarios here, right? So one of the possible scenarios is that we had an ending diagonal here that ended a move, right? So let's just say for the sake of what we're learning, that was something that ended here, right? And we started to move down, right? That move down was a nice, strong move. Let's go to a 4-hour. When we look at it, I see people counting it many different ways, but I'm just going to lean into the way that I like to count it, and we'll talk about a couple different ways also, because as I'm learning from some smarter people than me, it's always best to keep your eyes open to all the scenarios, okay? So some people say 1, 2, 3, 4, and this was all 5. Some people say this was a 3-wave correction, and that was in our macro count that we looked at, right? Where it was the wave 4 of our golden count, a 3-wave correction that made that. And then we got going again, right? So we were arguing that this is an impulse still, right? In that golden count. So if we want to validate this as an impulse in that golden count, well, what we have to invalidate is an expanding B wave pocket. Meaning that if this first move down was an actual A wave and not a wave 4 like in our golden count, we'll just throw this B here for now and a C over here, it doesn't matter. It really has to break our expanded B wave pocket of the retrace, okay? And how I pull that is I pull it from a low to a high to give my B wave pocket retraces up, okay? Let's slide this down a little bit because the numbers below us don't matter. This is our first target. Now, one of the things I'm going to tell you is, let's say this is an expanded B wave, right? We'll add it here. To meet minimum criteria to be a flat, meaning this is A, this was B, and then it should have dumped in C. Minimum criteria was to hit the 90% retrace of this move, which was beautiful, right? I thought it was going to end there. I thought, hey guys, we took 50% of the liquidity in the wick. Let's wait and see if we get 5 down, a retrace, and then a shorting opportunity. But, you know, it just never came. So structure built different. So we're still considering, excuse me, I had a little bit of a bubbly kombucha and it makes my tummy all rumbly. The typical target box of an expanded B wave is the 1.236 through 1.382, right? So we just kind of wicked into that zone. So we do still have a little bit more to go. Now, you'll note when we zoomed out on our golden count, and we'll go back and look at that really quick. If we blast up through this zone and it does become impulsive, happy days, right? It would also take out liquidity looking left on a macro, monthly, weekly time frame and fill that internal liquidity that we saw in those gaps. And whether it reverses from there or not, we'll find out as time comes. Saying yes for sure one way or the other would just be idiocy on my part, and I'm not going to do it. In probability, I don't see why Bitcoin wouldn't have more upside from here, at least to get into this target box and get some of the higher up liquidity that we were talking about. So to invalidate this scenario though, let's say you want to be the bull, you want to see it blast the 1.382 retrace. Another way to confirm it is those trend-based fib extensions we talked about, right? So we're going to go from a low of what we thought was 1 to the top of what we think is 1 to the low of what we thought was a correction, right? We have a 3-wave move. There's a lot of arguments out there about what occurred after. Who cares, right? Like, again, why are you arguing? Are you more worried about your ego, or let's just stick with probability? Does it really matter? No, it doesn't. So if this was an A, a B, and a C leg, you're at the 1.618, right? Like, that is the line in the sand for a regular ABC zigzag. When that 1.618 breaks with some closures, people are going to have to accept this as an impulse, and we're going to have to go back to that golden count as our primary, right? So as a bull, 51,714 is a critical area for you to watch, right? This 51,714 to 52K at this target box. Be aware that when we go into even lower time frames, there's a chance, right? There's a chance it's going to go in that target box and then absolutely yard down on you after that. In American terms, yard down is just getting screwed off, man. They're going to come wipe you out, right? Whatever your leverage position is. So let's switch this to an impulsive set. You can see how this move's justifying itself as a possible 1, 2, 3. We really need to consolidate here and get that another high to validate this as a move. Okay, so basically you can see how that all will tie into this. So let's circle back to our macro count here. And you can see how we're in the zone now, right? We were just talking about a 3. We want to see a shallow consolidation here in the 4, and then go up for the 5 to finish it off. This thing really has to keep moving. You don't want to see a whole lot of big pullbacks on Bitcoin. Anytime you, we're going to go over something really quickly. Anytime you're watching a move up on Bitcoin occur, and you think you saw a move, sorry, it would be a little out of proportion. Use your fib retrace tool, guys. You choose what you put here. If you want to learn more about this stuff, let me know. Message me. We can talk about it. I'll teach you. I have all the time in the world for this. Go from a low to a high. If you start seeing Bitcoin break these 0.5 retraces, obviously this is out of context because we're not showing it on price up there. But I urge you to be wise enough to pull from a low to a high and show your 0.5 retrace. If that's lost, guys, probability shifts that you're going to at least see the golden pocket, if not more, right? So please learn these things, and if you want assistance learning them, ask me. I would love to. All right, so let's check chat, and then we will go look at Atlas and Myriad. All right, Atlas and Myriad it is, friend. For my buddy. Alright. I don't think I've looked at it in quite a while. Let's see if we can figure it out. Alright, we quite didn't get to where we wanted to. And we lost our area of interest, I think. But let's delete that. Let's delete everything. Start again. It's the easiest way to do it, right? Delete everything. Start again. So, like I said, best thing we do is use the fib tools that we have. So, if I came to this chart was blank, I'm looking at it daily, I'm looking at it on a weekly, kind of trying to size it up, right? I pull from a low to a high, and just like we talked about, we really, really don't want to see this lost, right? This is where probability is going to shift for Atlas, and that's going to be at 0.3252, okay? If that line's lost, you're going to have to consider something else that's on the table. This chart itself doesn't count that great for Elliott's wave, yeah. I've tried to go through it with my extensions. I pull from a low to a possible high of a 3 to a possible low of a 4. We'll turn this to a corrective-based pocket. We quite didn't make our extended wave 5-1 area. I wonder if we had high volume here. Yeah, we did. Great. So it's going to be a speculative count. I don't know a lot about this project, but due to the way it got started, even though it's absolutely hideous and overlapping and probably not the best thing, the only way to really do it without breaking a whole ton of rules is something like this. And typically after seeing a 5-wave move, let's look at our RSI. And it had divergence there. That's nice, guys. It's not beautiful, but it is okay, right? So it could be a 5-wave move with an extended 5th wave, and now you're now you're waiting for the retrace. I almost said we waiting. So now you're waiting for the retrace. Now you do have hidden divergence here, right? Like the price when we're measuring in an uptrend, the price of these lows is where we're measuring at. This low is not lower than this low, but you can see how its RSI is significantly lower at this point already without even needing to break these structures, right? Personally, I'm not one to buy a 382 retrace. When I talk golden pocket, turn that off for a second. The magnet's like my friend and my enemy. You'll see this as time goes. I battle with that thing. My old eyes like start bugging out by the end of the day. So when I talk a golden pocket retrace, I talk a 0.5 fib through a 702 retrace, okay? That is the most probable region. And as a spot buyer even, or a hodler, something like that, that's really where I got to be good at doing is getting this 618, getting this 702, knowing this golden pocket zone, right? And we can go look at an example after this. But patience I found is key. I can show you a Euro USD pair that I patiently am waiting on, and a play on Pepe, same kind of scenario, okay? But here on the daily, you're also going to note price action is not coming up very high, but the RSI is, right? Here was our last point of interest and peak on the RSI. Here's where it was at on price action. And you can see we're nowhere near there, right? But the RSI is already higher than there. So already you're making hidden bearish divergences, right? So in a downtrend, you're measuring along the highs of price and the highs of RSI. You can already see we're putting in higher highs. We have no volume still. Honestly, I'd like to see this zone. If you continue to see struggles from here, you might get to see this zone. So that's my opinion on Atlas. Let's go look at Myriad real quick for you. Woo! When your squiggles don't dance exactly how you wanted, but they kind of make it there. It's okay. So this was a pattern we were watching in the Discord. We were watching for a possible cup and handle here. It's not beautiful, but neither were most of the people you dated in life, and you're still here. So it'll work out, right? So we have a shallow little handle here, but in all reality, it never hit our invalidation point of a 0.5 retrace. So we pull that from the low again to the high. See how, are you starting to see a theme here, guys? We're starting to see how this works out. But we didn't know this price action yet, right? So we pull from a low to a high. We never got anywhere near the 0.5, right? We never got where the probability shift would have occurred. So Miria was a strong coin. It hit its technical target. Had a little push here, a volume with some displacement near the end, in a possible 5-wave move. For me, the same concept applies here. I'm watching two things, right? I'm going to watch my macro golden pocket on Miria for a possible buying opportunity. Let's go ahead and place that, and then we'll turn on our golden retrace fibs for it. Boom. Minimum, guys, minimum. I want to see not 4547 for me to become interested again. At this point, we have a major hidden bear divergence coming in as we're coming into our zone here, our area of interest. Let's turn on our wave 4 retrace to see how we're dancing. That 0.5 is going to be our probability shift. The not 12822 0.5 retrace, taking half the liquidity in this wick. You'll note they did a really good job at cleaning it up as they came down, finishing it on a possible 5-wave move here. I would really want to pay attention to how this comes up if I was a Miria holder, and make sure, let's get this right, my magnet was off. Yeah, let's switch this, sorry guys. I really want to see it breaking this zone with some confidence, and right now it's not, right? Oops, fat fingered the keyboard. Now another way to justify it is go to your chart and pull your fib extension from this low of this wick here. Sorry, I went off to the side of it. To the high of this one, this gray one, to the low of this. Miria really, really, really needs to break that 1.382 at not 11502. Okay? You have confluence of things here that might give you that rejection. If it does, what I would be looking at is this is a first leg of a correction, a connector in the middle, and then that would get a partner leg. Just how we were talking about, oh, sorry. Forgot to be clicking, friends. So just like we talked about earlier in the stream where we were using the red line to show connectors and partner legs and all that stuff, same concept here, guys. Let's say it rejects from here, right? This corrective pocket that we're constantly watching, I think it lines up pretty good. I don't know about you, but it lines up pretty good for me. So I'm not looking for a lot of confluences in the zone, just enough, right? So we have counts, we have a technical target that was hit, we had bearish RSI divergences. You can note them here locally also with the pattern that we talk about often, the little M's, and when we're at the bottom, we're talking about the little W's, right? These are things to watch, right? If RSI continues to reject here at the 70 to 80 zone, this is Miria trying to tell you I'm getting sick. I have a bearish divergence. I'm getting rejected out of my bearish zone on my RSI and my confluent fibs. Maybe I need to go take a break in the back seat. Walk out of this party. I've had too much tequila. I need to catch my breath and make the room stop spinning, right? So you'll note this. Some of the altcoins will go, and then they'll take the back seat, and then another one will go, right? This is why we rotate profits. These are all strategies you can learn. All right, let's go check the chat after doing those two and see what we have, guys. All right. I feel I need to find entries, but I know I'm not comfortable buying anything up here. I feel you on that, Addy, 100%. Broom launched 5 minutes ago. Oh, crap. We'll have to go look at that. Putting 4 airbacks. Already went up 50%. Of course you did. You're like the shitcoin champion. All right. Kopi got hit pretty hard yesterday. Wallet hack, they say. Oh, no. Yeah, see, that's the thing. I think a lot of times people want to blame a news event, right? Or something, right? Like we had a Wi-Fi play in the Discord, and when Wi-Fi was at that point of like, oh crap, it's going to dump, Oh, of course news came in, right? It's the same thing here with Kopi. Of course news came in, right? It was all charted, honestly. So I think it's kind of funny, honestly. All right, let's go look at playable for you, sir. Share the stream with your friends, guys. If you like it, if you enjoy it, let folks know. I'd love to chat with more people. Is this it here, sir? Oh, nice. Coming out of the fallen wedge here. You see that? Little fallen channel, little fallen wedge action. Coming out of that. Let's go to a 3-day chart. See what's up. That is nice. Oh, wow. Here's the other thing to consider. What do we see here? Hidden divergence, right? Came down, reset the RSI so deeply. Nowhere near where the lows were here on price action, right? So this is still bullish. Still looking good. But again, like always, right? What we have to do is make it prove it to us, right? So let's make playable prove it to us. Let's delete everything really quick and see what that would look like, right? If I was a playable holder, which I'm not, I don't own any. Maybe I want to buy some. Let's see what it would take for me to feel bullish that this would get broken. As always, we're going to put on our golden pocket from a high to a low. I will tell you that this is a zone of liquidity. Also, double top, right? Zone of liquidity. These are magnets. These are things that price typically comes back for, right? So overall, I'm macro bullish on this chart. Overall, I think these highs could get swept here. This external liquidity. I also think you have external liquidity here. I think if you want to keep it simple on playable, what I would do here is we note we came down. The right side did close lower than the left side, so it changes probability a little bit. I would have rather have seen these right side closures up higher, but that's okay. The thing that we should note here, though, is that we do have a bullish RSI divergence on the daily here for playable between the closures of those lows and the closures of the bodies of the candles of those lows. Yes? Now look down here on the RSI, you'll note. Drop a vertical. Man, this gets me excited. I love charting. Here's another one. Let's drop another one here. You see, we have lower lows on price action closures, but not on the RSI, right? So that was our bullish daily RSI divergence. So we had bullish daily RSI divergence. We had hidden bullish divergence with the reset that we talked about earlier. We have the macro trend pointing up. Overall, I am bullish on playable, and I would like to see more highs, okay? We've talked about the highs that we would expect in our Discord and those targets, so go in there and check them out. Happy they're still there. For now, though, let's make it prove it to us, right? We have a couple different ways that I like to do it. One is a channel placed from, eventually my magnet will decide to be my friend. One is a channel placed from the low to the oh, did we break lows here? Let me go check this really quickly. Let's check the low on this candle. Not 376358. It's important. Not 3755. So a little bit higher. So that's okay. We didn't break the low. All right. So we are trying to leave the channel. We need that to continue to go. The other thing we're going to do is use the trend-based fibs that we've been learning and using. And go from a low to the first high of the trend to the second to the very next low, yeah? So it's always 3 clicks. We really have to break what? The 1.382, right? If this cannot get through this 1.382, that would be bad, right? It would just be a 3-way move and more downsides. So that's one thing to watch is your golden pocket on playable and your 1.382. But if our macro thoughts are right and if things are bullish after the divergence of the regular bullish RSI divergence, the hidden divergence we saw, all the other things that we saw, you still could see the other high, but you need to see this smashed out, the 1.382, not 65, 69, 67. Once that is taken out, then you can go bull, yeah? So that would look something like this. Those impulsive targets. Now, what it would do is give you, what I would think, this would have to be counted out as some sort of 1-2-1-2. and then it would give you a larger 3 than you expect, more than likely, then a 4 that consolidates here near the highs, and then sweeps them, and then gives another retrace, right? So this is all still kind of a little far down the road for now, since this is a daily time frame, but we'll have to tie it all together with other things that are going on in the market and see what happens, right? Bitcoin really has to play along for this to take off. So let's go back over and see the chat, see what else we have. Down 50% on Broom. Cheese and rice, my friend. Why? My goodness. Take profits when they're up, my friend. All right, have a look at Kopi. Don't think it was in the chart. And back up 25%. What a ride. At some point, get paid, my friend. Don't keep riding that up and down. All right, let's go find Kopi. I think they listed on something. Yeah. I wonder if we could just continue this downward. Not right to it, but pretty damn close, wasn't it? All right, let's delete everything. Is there a better chart than this, friends? This is hideous. All around, this is an ugly chart. Let me see if you guys, let's just look, I'll look around. Is that the only place you can get this chart? Don't know. Don't know which one would be your go-to. I don't trade this kind of stuff, man. I wouldn't even trade it even if I saw this chart, my friend. Is this second chart a better one? Happy the one we're looking at currently? Or do you like the other one better? Yeah, problem is it got paired to ADA for too long. Yeah, that could probably be skewing it. Yeah, I would. For me, I don't really care for this at all. For instance, I'll show you. We just had this play in our Discord, and this one was quite a good play, right? So we're all waiting on this pocket. I sold out most of my Pepe into this wave 3, finished selling out when we started to try to break the highs, owned no Pepe at that time, bought back here. Since buying back, our gains have been 32%. I think at one point they were up 40% today, so people made some really great gains off that buy. Stuff like this is what I'm interested in, right? I like to look at long-term spots to buy. Here was another one that we bought and shared in the Discord here. Let's see what our gains were off that guy so far. 28, 30%, right at the highs, 32%. That's sick. It's a good one. We also had a target box on Sol. We crushed that one. Bought this pullback to the channel. Let's go check. Let's see what we're up here. That's nice. And these are all just like rough targets. 37.81. So across the board, great gains, guys. So the season has been really good. This trend has been really good, but every trend comes to an end. So I urge you to make sure you're getting paid. Oftentimes, if the trend looks like a 3-wave move, maybe it is. So just tread lightly, right? Don't get your head in the sand. Like me, I've sold a lot of crypto, and I'm trying not to get my head in the sand. I'm trying to see that, there are still bullish counts, and I'm willing to buy pullbacks, but I'm not willing to buy right here. So let's go check chat, see what you guys have. Pepe. Yeah, dude, Pepe was a scorcher, wasn't it, Addy? That was a good play. Anytime, man. Anytime we get that 5-wave move, golden pocket pullback, things that trigger us and say, yo, we should be getting in, get in, right? Right? Time to keep the profits. Exactly right. You don't keep them unless you take them. They don't count as profits till you get paid. All right, let's go look at Citus for Happy really quickly. Sorry for all the noise, guys. My computer has obviously a fan that comes out of a Boeing, so that's pretty amazing. This was our target box on Citus. Let's clear out some of our fibbies. I am quite a messy person when it comes to fibs. I apologize, guys. And these were our targets for upside, okay? I know they're lavish. I know they're crazy, but due to the shitcoin mafia, stuff happens, right? So sometimes things that we don't understand happen. I would really, really, really like to not see this low lost, but I'm open and willing to buy Citus if it came down a hair lower also. But really, this, like we talk about all the time, the 0.5 retrace is our line in the sand. Yes, guys? Any purchases of Citus that I made in this box, I'm really starting to get nervous about because they're not getting out of it, right? When these things start to happen and we're getting, let's check here, I don't want to misspeak. Let's just move this vertical. How's that sound? Excuse me. Yawned. We have a newborn. She's only like 4 months old. Keeps us up all night last night. She never cries. She just wants attention. She really likes to be eye contact. Go sit awake with me. Entertain me. So we already have hidden bear divergence here with a higher RSI. So that is concerning me about my purchases of Citus. But if you bought down lower, great. But draw those lines in the sand, right? You don't want to start seeing these clumps, these consolidations of volume lost. Let's put, I haven't used this tool in a while. Let's do a fixed range. I haven't used it so long I forgot where it lives. Let's do this. I want to see where the majority of the volume in this range was lying. Let's go to here because we don't care about once it started correcting. Wow, that's not good. Alright, let's extend it out a little bit further. The majority of the volume saying it's down there. Let's turn on our volume. I don't believe that tool. Anyways, rising volume with the move. I'm still bullish on this one, honestly. It just has to get out of this target box, right? And you can see our reasoning as to why. Let's readjust those. Sorry, guys. We actually might have found a pivot here, so we don't know for sure. But every time you think you found a new pivot, move your targets. So let's get realistic again with our targets. That was a little lavish. Depending, every retrace will change what every fib does, so just be fluid with moving them and remember that they're areas of interest and not price. Like, it's not a fixed price, it's an area of interest. But so from here out of this target box, we're still looking at 100% to 265 gain, but again, has to get out of the target box or we might catch the kick down. So I'll cut Citus from the home team if it loses this box. It's important to me. Also, you could watch here on the weekly, would be another thing for you to watch, is the 50, or this is the daily, excuse my misspeaking. We'll put a horizontal line at your 50 level on your RSI, or if you're just used to seeing the dash line in the middle, pay attention to it, but that 50 line in the bottom of the box should be our lines in the sand where we would consider cutting these investments, okay? Let's go check what our other chart was really quick. VPP, let's go check. Oh yes, the poker. Do you like to gamble? Same concept here, right? We're watching for the same thing. Great volume came in there. Absolutely amazing. The only bullish way that we were able to count this thing is a possible 1, 2, 3. And this was the correction, and now it should giddy up, right? So let's delete this. Let's say this will be our low, right? This was our target box anyhow. We do not want to see the low of the target box lost. We talked about this in the Discord and I've been posting about it as we go. You cannot see this low lost. The other thing you'll note is what? Hidden divergence, right? RSI had a deep reset. Price action didn't come down that low. Our last point of interest was here. We're well below that on the RSI, right? So we have hidden bull reset. So we need to watch how this comes out of here. And we don't need to be coming back in this target box. We need to maintain the support we have on it and not come back inside the target box, right? That should be seen as weakness. All right. So now let's pull a fib from the log here to the high to the low. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to keep our head up and be aware that there could be a possible shorter target, but it could go further. honestly, I would be watching VPP, this poker thing, to 0.138550 at the 382, or to the 0.618 at 0.346525. Now, it's going to be critical that it gets going, right? Obviously, this was a correction. You can see it. We need to get back in this nature of just impulsive nature, right? We need to get going again. But lines in the sand, don't lose your low. Things like that are going to apply here also. Even if it's a wave 5, don't expect volume to really come in for it unless it's an extended wave 5. And in that case, the volume's coming to play tricks with your mind. And it's just to get you to stay in the game longer so you can be exit liquidity, okay? So let's go check, see if we have any other chats coming up. All right. If you ask Pepe, I'll ask the cock. That's hilarious. You know you love the cock, Happy. It's been great to you this whole bull run. You would never complain. All right. Wilder World has been going well. Hurting on that one. Yeah. A lot of people are getting hit with a lot of shit lately. But that's how it goes, you know. You got time for poo coins and a time to be out of poo coins, right? So we hit the resistance that we noted. This was our region we didn't want to lose here at the 618, and we're holding it beautifully. So let's get this big old green arrow out of the way. And let's talk about lines in the sand, right? Things aren't looking so great for it. It never got impulsive. It had lots of overlap, and it has even more overlap now. We're at our holy crap line in the sand right now. So you can't see this loss, guys. We have double confluence of fibs here at 212 to 214. If that's lost, you really need to reconsider your position. Let's get this off here because we already knew what that was. And let's talk about what, let's say I still own this, right? If I still own this, I'm going to take a fib retrace and pull it from a high to a low. Struggling at the 0.5 right now, right? That's the beginning of what we consider our golden pocket, or where we can commonly see rejections. Okay, let's slide this out to the side so we can see it better. Let's delete this one because we already know our line in the sand, right? You lose this, it's game over for you. Whoever owns this, so you're get punched in the throat on the next move down, because whatever this was is going to get a partner leg. So you'd have a leg, connector, partner leg of minimum size, 1-to-1, right? So if Wild continues to face rejections here at the golden pocket, it's got an amazing hidden bearish on the RSI divergence already. You can see the last time volume came in, right? What happened? Sell off. Someone in the know knows what's going on here. This, to me, is scary to me. It looks like we're filling the internal liquidity gap here in this candle's body. We're going to sweep this liquidity here in the in this range of the old external range that was left behind. Take the internal liquidity and possibly reject for a partner leg. Like we talked about earlier, we would justify that if it sees that rejection there. Place from the high to the low to the possible rejection point. Let's say it fills the fair value gap here at this liquidity, hits the golden pocket and rejects. We're talking about this coming down to $1.50, $1.51. Maybe then I could maybe consider buying this, but even then I'm still going to be hesitant, as before this it looks like a big old blue dildo candle, and I'm not willing to take one of those in the face except colored gray. So for now, this isn't something I feel so hot on. This is something I'm steering clear of, something I'd be looking at maybe cycling into something else. If it continued to see resistances here, I'd maybe move to another project. You'll learn in time, guys. I have no love for any project. I really don't care about your XLM or XRP, Algorand, Cardano. All of them are nothing to me. They're all yard sales. I don't give a damn. I buy them cheap, sell them high. I'm never going to hold them. I don't care for them. I'm not, until the grander scheme picks them up, until Swift picks it up, until systems are holding these things. I really don't care, and it won't be too late, because look, this is trading. Every day's volatility. There's no such thing as it's all gone, okay? I'll trade beef futures or something. There's always something to go to, yeah? All right, let's go check the chat. All right, VPP, bop, bop, bop. That's the shitcoin trade, yes, sir. VPP looked good, yeah. Everybody loves the cock, my friend. You are not wrong there, everybody. Well, guys, I think we had a great little stream here. Do you guys have anything else? You want to chat for a little bit? What do you got? Oh, you got another chart. Okay. You didn't even wish me a happy Valentine's Day yet. You already asked for another chart. I really thought you were my Valentine. All right, let's look at SEI. We've been charting this one hard for a little bit. Hard from the yard. I'm getting a little bit worried on it, but I think we're still doing good, okay? I really didn't like the way that we had to count this one as a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, but it's going well so far. So you can see the current. Let's get this one out of our way. This target is to measure the 5 of this leg only, right? So let's delete this. So I don't know how to explain this. There's two ways that I think that we have to consider this as a move, right? One is that it could be an A, B, and C again. Let's delete everything off of this. You can see our highest volume started coming in here in a possible wave 3. But let's turn volume off. What I don't like about it is that nowhere in here can we see a very clear 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? It looks like a clump and a move and a clump. Now, when we pull our trend-based fib extensions on that and we disregard anything outside of just math, like throw away the speculation of Elliott wave, throw away the speculation of anything. So far, this coin has done nothing impulsive, right? Maybe it has impulsive sections within a correction, but so far it's done nothing truly impulsive. And that reason is because it's never broken the 1.382. So for me, as somebody who is a spot trader, I have no interest right now. For me as a leverage trader, you already saw where I had interest, and it's currently leaving. So this is a good candle today. We really, 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 really want to see this daily candle continue this amazing support off of a fib area. Yes, it's a pin bar, tail bar candle. The other way you could see it is a possible W bottom with two different style bottoms, Adam and Eve, some people say, whatever. Guys, even if it's not textbook, who gives a damn, yeah? So let's measure that for a technical target real quick. From the bottom of its butts to its Aunt Sally's neck, 24.30, so 48.6. Somewhere in this zone, you're already there, you're at your technical target. I don't see why they would do a technical target W bottom and not sweep the range liquidity, right? So I would be looking to this 97 cents as my next target. And the psychological dollar range, right? But this move here, this individual move here, really needs to get impulsive also, right? So if you took your fibs and you went from a low to a high to a low, let's see, has this individual leg got impulsive yet? You're at it right now, my friend. You're at the line in the sand, right? That 87.36, not 0.8736 at the 1.382, our corrective pocket 1 through 1.382, we are tangled up in it, right? If this does not sweep the liquidity, or let's say it does, let's say it goes push, wick above, takes out liquidity, and yards down, be prepared. Same thing we talked about on Bitcoin, possible expanding B scenario. Yes, let's say this is 3 waves. Let's say this turns into 3 waves. Just bear with me here. Let's turn on our expanded B wave pocket. Tweak these so we get those other ones out of our way. Turn off all our negative values. If you want to learn how to do any of these fib templates or setting up anything, hit me up. Let's do it. What we could be looking at, and it's speculative at this point, you could be looking at a 3-wave move down in A, a 3-wave move up in B. If it can't break our expanded B wave pocket, that's what it is, man, right? And that's what we have to possibly consider. Yeah, I don't know. SEI, I don't feel that great on it. I feel like it could just be a sweep of liquidity for the B wave above these and then take it down. So, yeah, let me know your thoughts. Share them. I hope it was helpful. I have lag. Yes, I do. I have multiple kids on homeschool, and I'll get that fixed, though. Thank you for sharing it with me. Maybe something like a direct link from the computer to the internet would be helpful. I will get this all taken care of, though. So, promise you I would share my cocktail. Don't be greedy now. That is true. I guess you did give me quite a gift just by bringing that to me for Valentine's Day, sir. Thank you. That is Valentine's enough. You're right. IT, it is a new coin. How can it just be ABC retracement? I don't think I understand your question there. It is a new coin. How can I just be ABC retracement? I don't understand your question, maybe, but we can discuss it more next time. We'll just have to keep watching this one, yeah? And see what happens. But I hope you all enjoyed this. I hope it was helpful. I hope you learned some stuff in this stream. If you want to ever chat some more, hit me up. And happy Valentine's Day to you all. I'm going to get off here and wish you the best. Thank you, guys.